Hi guys, doing a quick summary of chapters 1 through 5 of the book Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing by Judy Blume. We learned that the main character's name is Peter Drexel. In the first chapter, we learned that he went to his friend's house, Jimmy Fargo, for a birthday party, and he won Dribble. Dribble is his pet turtle. We were also introduced to Farley Drexel Hatcher, which happens to be the main character's little brother, also known as Fudge. In chapter 2, we learned a little bit more about Peter's family and that his dad works for an advertising company, and they hosted Mr. and Mrs. Yarby, who was the president and wife of the company Juicio. Mr. and Mrs. Yarby doesn't have any children, and it made for a very interesting dinner and sleepover. Fudge had some fun, and Peter received a gift that he already had. In chapter 3, we learned that Fudge is a typical toddler. And he wasn't eating. And instead of eating, he was pretending to be a dog. Peter's mom called doctors, trying to figure out what would help. Finally, Peter's dad made him wear the food. Wow, wear the food. It says here he took a whole bowl of cereal right over his head. Oh boy. In chapter 4, we learned a little bit more about where Peter lives in New York City and that they could play in Central Park. It talks about Peter being able to meet up with his friend alone, Jimmy Fargo, in the park. It gave some history about what it might look like to live in New York City and bad guys. And it also talked about another friend, Sheila. Sheila lives in the building with the main characters. And at one point, Peter and Fudge's mom come to the park and leave Peter, Jimmy Fargo, and Sheila in charge of watching Fudge. Fudge climbs up on the jungle gym and pretends to be a bird, and he holds his arms out and he goes to fly, and guess what? He doesn't fly. He only falls and bumps his face.
On the ground.
On the ground. And then what happens? Now he's missing his teeth. His two front teeth. Wow.
That's our summary.
That is our summary. In chapter 5, we get more of a look about the small apartment that they live in New York City. Yep. We learned that Fudge is turning 3 years old.
Yep.
And that Peter helped to host the party with their mom and grandma.
Yeah.
And the key thing from this chapter is not only is Fudge turning 3, but he had 3 friends come over. A friend that bites, a friend that eats, and a friend that's scared.
Or shy.
And shy. That's right. Okay, and that's our summary of chapters 1 through 5 of Tales of the Fourth Grade Nothing by Judy Blume.